ba 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 bum, 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 bum. Yeah, baby. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Yes.
Go again.
Here we go.
Whoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, people is busy. Hey, people are busy, guys.
It's busy and about guys. It's not many of us.
See,
There's so
shorter.
many things to be done. Shorter. That's very long,
Oh.
actually.
Well, I would rather sing a peleli.
So many things that are going on. But yeah, how are you, Slyso?
I'm good, Queen. We are on season 2, episode, believe it or not, 40. Yeah.
Wow.
Of season 2. We still have episodes from the first season.
Yes.
And this is just one episode. I mean, like, that's the one season that just refuses to bounce, to leave.
No, it just like asks for more from us. Honestly.
Are you done?
No, we're not.
and that's what happens. It was like, are we done? We're like, yeah, Tina, we are done. But when we look at the work, we're like,
we can talk and we have so many ideas and things to like just ventilate about. So
but I think, Queen, it's the beauty of entrepreneurship. You know, like I've been hanging out with like a group of different entrepreneurs, and everybody talks about this anxiety, this thing. Like I thought my presentation was okay for me to present, and then I thought like I'm like, we are kept on our toes.
Yes.
And it's I think it's a beautiful thing because it gets our minds. You know,
like you're always thinking creatively, you're always like, critically engaging, and you're never just sitting and lax and just lazing around, if I can put it that way. You're kept on your toes.
And especially when you're an entrepreneur, like when you work for yourself. I was chatting with a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Ubusi, earlier on today, and we were just talking about that. It's like, Chomi, I get days where I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I sit and I'm like, the hurry up and wait and all of that. I'm like, sister, you are right where it is, because as long as you journal, I think that's the most important thing, is like just journal whatever thought comes through and you'll come back to it. But while your mind is in a space of thinking creatively, touching istini, just write down the ones you think like could work, and then you can come back to them. I think that's what I've done throughout my life, and that's why I'm a bit I want to do the next thing. What's the next thing?
You are such a diehard, always coming up with new ideas. Like,
But I have to say, I was actually thinking as I was putting on the lights, since we do our own production and own sound and all things, I was just thinking, I'm like to myself, loyalty is a very important thing, I'm thinking people are busy, and from the first call that was made to you, you're like, yo, niggas, I'm gonna be here. What do you need? Where do you need me to be? No, formidable partnerships are come from that. We know Steve Jobs. We don't know the other people that actually urged him when he was feeling kind of tired, that became partners and all of that. So I just want to say, to the queen, baby, to the queen.
Yeah, and I think Slyso, entrepreneurs, you sometimes need a person that believes in your idea, even if it's not very clear vision. I think sometimes as friends and as family, we can lose sight when we don't see exactly this clear picture. Someone is kind of like still thinking. You need those people that are going to buy into, just believe in you, and trust that direction. So let's just kind of journey with this person. Support base for that. And sometimes that's all you really need to propel you to keep on going.
I'm living proof. When instead of having those people, when are we going to stairs? When are we going to like thingy? I'm like, yo, I need to intambo yantoni malume? I'm like, nigga, ndithenga intambo. Okay, malume, intambo, I mean, iqale yayimalini? No,
Yeah,
yi-250 rand.
yeah.
But I want 5 meters, so 5 meters was about 800. People do. Yeah, so I truly believe, and agree with you at what you're saying. But I want us to breeze through what's going on,
What's a lot
very
going on?
quickly. There's just so
Yeah.
much, like South African diaspora. What did you
Every
pick up?
single
Like,
day is like a bomb off a bomb, and decisions are being made at night. I feel like so we are back again to that Zuma time. You remember when there's reshuffling that's happening? I feel like
Uthi
we are back.
nivuka is like, no, I say you minister.
We are kind of back there again. What's happening? What's happening, guys?
There's just so much, man. We know, and I know in the last week we had the lady that Julius Malema called
Winnie Mandela.
Winnie Mandela, which was a nail in his coffin. If you are asking me, why are you going to protect a person to that extent? You've named your headquarters after Umamu Winnie Mandela. You made your mark and made believers out of the world during
Yeah,
Umama's funeral and your
yeah,
relationship with her.
yeah.
And there you go. Hey, hi, ADREA JOHNSON. Kime. Winnie Mandela. For what,
That
God?
was a desperate move. You see, I like when when things come and unfold, people start to become vulnerable. Like, so that was vulnerability from Ututu, because now you are making these like statements that are kind of like raising eyebrows. Wow, okay, so
Hmm.
what's happening? What are you trying? Why are you trying to divert the attention here to from this person to Uwini? Because making that statement to me is actually very manipulative.
So true.
Yeah,
So true.
so
So
we mustn't focus on Andrea Johnson and what she's done and zoom in on that. We must now just come with this emotional sentiments of Winnie Mandela.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's
And I think it's basically what politicians ride on into
yes,
your emotions, being
yes.
sentimental,
Mm.
which is what I like about Amatutha. Amatutha don't give an F, bro. Like you'd be like, Danam Utatu Mandela is like, okay, where is he now? Like, what was he doing? Like, how did he fend for his family?
Yeah.
Yeah, while he was in
So he
jail,
was a
what
great
how was
person, but
how
he
was the
wasn't
family
great to his
surviving?
family. Okay, that's not good.
And they asking questions that we did not ask, that we never asked.
Yeah,
It's like, how is Umamwini surviving? You
yeah,
know, which,
yeah,
which basically just made her the icon that she was, which
yeah,
also put her in a place of vulnerability, especially for a person who has seen the that thing on I think it's on Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
documentary. You get to
yeah,
see a desperate
yeah,
woman that is living without a husband, that is raising kids, that
yeah,
has a lot of people from a community yakhe that are saying, okay, while uMandela engekho, we have you. What do you
yeah.
have for us? You have all of this responsibility, and you think that person is gonna come out like, you know, irrational all the time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
expectation
anyway, we
of
digress. You see, maybe this is why Juju did this thing, so that we can go back and talk about the real
exactly.
Winnie
But you
Mandela.
wanted us to digress and be like, oh, we
She
got to
wanted
move. You see, we just fell into that trap. Oh, Winnie. Oh, now
you
we
see,
are going to be engaging with Andrea. In fact, let's come back to that.
we- we're not.
What is the story about this woman wanting to now? Did she resign? She resigned and the president accepted the
Well,
resignation.
she decided that, like, Imadlanga is too much for me. These guys are gonna catch me out. And obviously, we could see from Kwa last week. I mean,
Yeah.
from when she took the stand, from when she made herself sick, and Utatu
That
Madlanga.
was
I
telling.
think,
That was telling that she was running away from something. Because
yeah.
why do you need to come up with the instance of an uyakula? Just
Mm.
come into account.
And that Madlanga like made it clear, and I think she read the script from there when she was saying, because he was very scathing when he was saying, why are you gonna bring us as a certificate is gonna qualified and don't. In fact,
Yeah.
what's going to happen? We're gonna go to the health, not ombudsman, but like the regulatory for medical practitioners,
The
and
Health
if
Professions Council. Yeah. So
yes, yes. If they issue a fraudulent thing that intervenes, okanye that gets in the way of law being, being followed and stuff, the practitioner is going to be held liable and
liable.
might lose their license. I think that's how quickly even the doctor said, "I, hey, when I take I don't want
Yeah.
to lose my job ngenxa yakho." But the latest, I mean, like after those scathing questions and everything else that came out of it,
Yeah.
it is that, oh, sis Andrea guys, like bamxelele into yokubana, like, please, you see, reconsider over the weekend, because I think
Yeah.
she resigned over the weekend,
Yes,
didn't
yes,
she?
yes. We woke up today with those news that she has with immediate effect. But
With the,
I just want to pick your brain on this one. What
mm.
does this mean? I don't know if I'm comfortable with people when they are being held accountable, then they resign. I feel like it's a cop out of some sort. What does this mean now? Andrea resigning.
Look, I think people do it the world over. You'll be doing something or yazi into yobani wrong. Even if you are employed, in a parastatal or government, you are a government employee or
Yeah.
private sector for that matter. When ish hits the fan and like now you are found out,
Yeah.
sometimes you resign because you want to probably have your pension, or can you, like, just have a clean exit. Kungathiwa hayi ugxothiwe. A lot of people do that, especially when they still want to be employed. Then some like, I resign. But you've done wrong. And
Yeah.
in most cases, what I like about umthetho is that they say, okay, fine, that is you and your employer, but Tina, we have filed a case against you. You know,
Okay.
you are still going to pay at the end of the day. So this doesn't mean in Dokbana like she's not gonna be charged
She's now excused from accounting
from accounting.
for, like, yes, for what she has done, or her
Mm.
role in all of this.
Her role in all of this, and I think she plays a scorned lover, in this whole fiasco. That person who said, I was not privy. I did
Yeah.
not know that he goes out, Gandhi is going to strip clubs, Gandhi is like thingy is like
Yeah.
all of these things, and yet you know this person so
Yeah.
well, and the
Yeah.
person in this instance being the cabal, all the stuff that's happening in IDEC,
I did,
she's
yeah.
privy to it. And I remember, I mean, when she was quizzed about qualifications, where Utatu Madlanga is on some like, please, nomdana when's the first year yakhe, law 101, uyayazi, the subjectivity and objectivity of things, and you
Yes.
presided over such. So why uzosenza isimuncu ke ngoku? You know what I mean? So she knows exactly what she was doing. And I think people like this just need to go to freaking jail, because if you
No,
think
they
about
just
the
need.
monies.
Ah, man. But also the abuse of power is so, like, disturbing,
Mm,
like, an organization like IDEC that is supposed to be
it's
protecting and making, yo,
protecting the
it's
country.
just like, it's so unbelievable. And I don't know, Wana, like, what does this mean for, like, us in our country? Because I mean, if you're gonna have organs like that are supposed to protect and make sure that they are holding people that are doing wrong accountable, not to partner with criminals,
Mm.
you know, what's gonna happen?
I can see you getting speechless there, saying like, "What do we do now?" Like,
I'm stressed out.
yeah, but I have to commend. I mean, compared to Zondo, which cost 1 billion, nobody, and it was high-profile people. It was ministers and all kinds of people,
Yeah,
but none of them went to jail.
yeah,
No one is probing with that mandasha with the. Bosasa, security thing is, no one is probing. It's only now, which is a
yeah,
story that we're going to carry a little bit later on, Ulaki Montana, where they're actually starting to act, because that comes from the Zondo Commission, those findings with the train and all of those contracts. But I think with Madlanga, like, there's a particular beautiful manner in which they are doing this so that it's actually totally different and people are actually held to account, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like
yeah,
that they're not waiting till the end, because I think with the Zondo commission it was the commission took place and it took long and there was nothing happening. Whereas with Madlanga commission is things are happening, the process is taking place, but we can take action also at the same time.
they just give you until Friday.
Implement some of the, especially the clear cut situations. Let's deal with them, and I think that gives confidence to the people of South Africa. But okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
They give you like until Friday. Friday, you must know, no, but like the weekend, there's no rest for you. If you appeared Gumadlanga, I uzo uzobazendweni guy, we are move. Even Julius, did you see when they picked him up like this time around? He made
yeah,
sure into unxibe isangwane, unxibe nelandika, cabuvile into the two times. Kuyabanda emjiva.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm not gonna mess.
yeah,
So with her, I mean, like by all means, man, like we're not talking about someone who defrauded a department or an employer of 100,000 rand or 500,000 rand for that matter. We are talking millions and millions. You've affected like people's lives. We talk about General Mfazi, who now there's an inquest because Kutwa, no, that thing was not him dying from COVID. You know what I mean? You've gone to the extent of killing people for what?
yeah,
For you
yeah.
to leave uh, uh, like yeah, but anyway, we move on because
Really greedy.
just being greedy because we
Yeah,
move on to another one, Queen,
yeah.
that actually speaks to judiciary again.
Oh, he
This
must, he must, he must, he must be fired. He must go. He must go. He must go. He must, he must go. Like
I
we are
knew
not
when
even debating this one.
I knew
You know
when
what? When we've done the ventilating, process and stage, guys. We debated and all of that. Then there was, like an outcome. Once there's an outcome, then we don't debate. Like the law must take its course. He must be suspended. Of course, it's not a matter of questioning why has it not happened actually, because that's supposed to come immediately after a law.
for me it was just a testosterone trial. Now that I sit back and I watch it, because we sit and we debate these things and we're like, sometimes people have gone out with people that they work with, or but there are laws. It can't be a junior, it can't, you know what I mean, and all of these things, and all of these were ventilated, but it was all about, yeah, these are two adults and all kinds of stuff that they argued in court. For me, I think there was a lot of um, patriarchy,
And
in
besides
being
that, I think
decisive.
also there's also, besides the sexual harassment, there's also I think the bigger one for me is that the fact is this is a senior person. There's an abuse of power here again, power imbalances. Obviously this person is a judge. There's code of conduct that he's supposed to follow. And he doesn't. So from a ethical point of view, like, of course, then season there was also this arrogance that was coming from him because he thought,
Yo,
he's just gonna walk. Yeah,
yeah, I have a hope when I Toto, because I'm this person who for a living looks at trends, looks at data, and looks at all of these things, because I think, as I've said before, is that there was a time when this behavior was accepted. It was a thing.
yeah,
Ufuna umsebenzi, hayi thetha nobani, uzothi nje gonna go
yeah.
out on a few dates and all of that stuff. There's a particular generation before us that did that, and
Yes,
I would like to believe, Ndokbana, we are the generation that is either going to go with that, or we are the
okay.
generation that is going to call it out.
Yeah,
And what
yeah,
I like about these cases being public, it's not
yeah,
something that's going to be done behind closed doors. This
yes,
gives a law student, young man, young woman, a clear view of what has been happening, you know, because they can refer to a particular case, Kabanban, and they never got charged because of A, B, C, and D. But I think right now we have young people, obviously, once again, Abacha, who just say in the banner, like, we're just not going to buy BS. You're not going to do this to my mom. You are not going to do this to my dad, like, that type of thing. And they've got resources, and places they can go to. So for me, with all my heart, I know that I'm not just talking to you. It's not just the two of us, but for me, call it that. But it's good riddance to just freaking rubbish for me,
Also,
because
it's, you know what it is? It's the church. It's the church. There's the
that's what I
arrogance of the
hate.
church. I was like, when I saw some of these videos, Ekula Payana, and I was like, well, typical.
That is why in the
Typical.
bindi sokucho when I toto. That is why in the bindi sokucho is that we protect is
Yes.
that should not be happening.
Jeez, and I think the older generation, they like to bring in culture when they don't want to account and actually just like admit that what I've done lihlazo earlier, I shouldn't have done this. Now you are bringing in culture and you're trying to drag the Xhosa culture into this when we know very well, but I can't deny culture up. You just took advantage of a situation because you were in a position of power. And now that you're being held accountable, you're bringing in culture as a card for you to be excused. And I think we are that generation as well that is going to say, you know what? You're not going to do that to us. You're not going to tell us about the culture because guess what? Culture also can change. And if that culture is
Thank
what
you.
made you to do this, then we are going to reject that culture because that clearly it's not working. We start a new culture.
Thank you. What I always say to people, there are customs, there is culture. There are
Yes,
certain things that do not change.
yes.
Culture by
Culture
itself, if
changes.
you're talking fashion, if you're talking whatever, you are talking about something that can evolve. And
Yeah.
this particular one doesn't only speak to just how things are done. You are talking about how you are engineering your child at home to accept
Exactly.
into kubana utata uyajola, like utata kola mama was next door. It's been done the world over. And
Yeah.
you wonder why in the days that we live in there are so many there's so much divorce. It
Yeah.
is because suka ibisenzo nangtata lento phaa mama, so why not me? Why can't you be the different one? And I'm not saying like if you're a bachelor, you're a bachelor. And I always like I've got bachelor friends who like when they say in the banner like I'm Chan and the end and I'm like, it's good boy. Ahamba.
Yeah.
So how are you doing with this one? Because you are in the dating phase. So
Yes.
you are
Exactly.
in the dating
Yeah.
phase. You're not effing people around, Jay. When I talk to you
And
and it's not an effing around, it's like, yeah, I lonely qualities alone and there's stand. I think as alone, I can sit with you, but I cannot sit with a married man and discuss in Dogbana like which sloozy are you going to like go to now? Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Can we
Okay.
breathe? Can we breathe? We need to breathe. You see, this is what happens when you get so busy and stay away from the podcast.
You see, kanti ngekho kuyabonakala uba akhange ndibe khona for a very long time. Okay, let's move on. I know we have so many stories to get
Oh my
through.
gosh, we've got so many, and I think it's short. The next one that's coming up, it's about the whole Mabahambe. There's a lot that has happened. We've picked up in Dogbana like oh my gosh, in Dogbana, white businesses in South Africa have been complicit in the prevalence of illegal immigrants in the country. They have been employing them. I don't care whether you can go to a Pick and Pay. 6060 is suffering with deliveries right now because
Yes.
they
Yes.
employed illegal immigrants. And this is a well respected South African company and brand. Now, all of a sudden, they are suffering. They even wrote an article about it. I did not prepare it. In the banner, like, yeah, the farmers are suffering with harvesting and all of that. Well, let it harvest, yeah, no, ibune. because
And
this is
for
what you
them to say,
did.
they say it in such a way that we must feel sorry for them as South Africans. Like,
This,
well, that's a chance for you to also employ South Africans who are ready, by the way, to do the work. I mean, I saw a clip on TikTok where they were posting and showing e-pastels, and did you see a lot of South Africans, young people saying, okay, now send the outfit out so that we can actually apply, you know? But you know what? The South African white businesses have been benefiting because they
wow.
know that it is good for them, because then they don't have to talk fair pay. They don't have to talk, good working conditions. You understand? They don't have,
Mm,
which are
mm.
demands that South Africans are going to bring to the table. Now, of course, they must push the narrative South Africans are lazy. That's why we then give to these people. So,
You know what pisses me off the most, Toto, about it is that these people under apartheid, white businesses
yeah.
were abusing us as South Africans.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't live and grow up with Otata Betu because they had to fuck off and go and work
Yes.
for the white
Fine.
man. Whatever he says
Mm,
goes.
mm,
Akubhatalele ndafuna ukubhatala yona. They
yes.
did that exploitation for a very long time, for
Very long
entire
time. Yeah.
apartheid.
Yeah.
And when and to an extent, I was like, you probably want to punish African National Congress for coming into government and bringing in BEE and all of this stuff to
Yes.
level playing fields. It was a good fucking policy. It's been abused, yes, but it gave umuntu omnyama eSouth Africa ingqondo yocinga into yokubana, why must I get up here ndiyophangelela i-50 rand and then
Exactly.
ndibuye nala 50 rand
Exactly.
notywala, the remainder or the balance of my money butywala.
And remember also, what BE did, like, so it made it possible for you to also sit at a table that you wouldn't have otherwise been invited to even sit into, to even just be considered as a business, if you are black. So, and this idea that, since BEE came in, then corruption, EPE and the corruption are two separate things, and I think we need to also just clarify that
Eh,
corruption is corruption, and corruption can be done. We see it by Indians, black people, white people. EPE has got nothing to do with that. It doesn't promote corruption, but it said, well, the playing fields haven't been,
leveled.
equal levels, and
Mm.
let's bring the black person, onto the table, and therefore the BE came about. So I think it's very, even for us, it's very harmful for us to talk about BE, CTETA in such a way that that enables corruption. People are the ones that manipulate systems, just like the BE being manipulated, and now you have, of course, people that are going to get tenders who don't actually have, the capacity to deliver,
And the question, Queen, I ask is that who did they learn that from? Who did they learn to cut corners from? Who
Yeah.
is the person who is surrendering 30% of their business to a black person to say, no, bana, you don't have to work, you don't have to have the skills, you don't have to tumela check nje. How many have registered companies, big companies that make millions, would make domestic worker yabo a beneficiary or a director who company, and
Yeah.
yet they still pay that person 1,500 rand a month. So on this particular day, what is the date? I want to say on the 27th of July that white South African businesses, you have been so flipping complicit
Yeah.
in the unemployment of black South Africans in South Africa, because you saw in Dobana, like, you can corrupt a person at the border because I'm going to lay it squarely on you as well.
Yeah.
That you go and register these people after a year, you take their passports, put 2,000 rands in there, and send Vuyani, or not even Vuyani, because it's going to be somebody from out of the country, to go to the border, stamp them, and tell that these people are studying. Studying what? Where they've been working at your farm for all
Yeah.
of these years.
Yeah.
And you get mad at a black South African. You get mad at a black South African when they say in the manner like, we don't want to work under these standards. You forget in the manner like all the tags that you've given us. We are dumb. We don't want to study. We don't want to be educated. We are lazy and all of these things. It is because you've made the entry level that BEE has been trying to level the playing fields where you could have contributed in the education system to change it now to be what it is, because you are the ones with capital, you are the ones who own the farms, you are the ones who should be advocating for a minister of higher education not to do away with agricultural schools because they are very important. Oh, okay, let me even Nomazwai listen to check this out. I'm gonna run out of breath.
But listen, Slyso, I want to, I mean, with this crisis that's happening, I want to also say, Rana, I'm happy because there's an awakening that's happening with young South Africans,
Certainly.
and this is the beauty about social media. Also, we're coming into social media in this community. We're learning and we're starting to think critically about policies and how they influence us, politics and how they influence our lives. I mean, organizations as far know SA,
Proudly
RC,
South, proudly
yeah,
SA.
yes. So there are many organizations that are actually, March and March mobilizing.
Mm.
There's this one now, Princey, also, just on constitutional reforms, educating young
Yes,
people.
yes, love that.
Love that. So
Yeah.
with all these frustrations, there's also the good side where the young black, people now are actively engaging, active with the important stuff, with the
With the
important,
important stuff, and I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's very important to actually note that with
yes,
important stuff, it's no longer because they need to understand. Yeah, Toto Ngateta Ndomela, I need like an episode, like 5 hours to talk about, because I've also shared about it on the podcast. In
yes,
Dokbana, lomsebenzi a restaurant. Lomsebenzi of even pushing a trolley. Do you know how
yeah,
much you learn from that?
yeah,
From a young kid, I know a guy whom I'm friends with from the hip hop thingy, who
yeah,
started off as a person who pushes a trolley,
yeah,
a warmer, a
mm,
shopping center, because there you learn to take instruction, right?
yes,
Because akukho kwenu, you
yeah,
learn to plan into kubana like, oh, funeke ndiphume every 5 minutes, get data
yeah,
ezithile nange
yeah,
data ezithile. That knowledge, by the time you get to a tertiary institution, you know how to orientate yourself around tasks,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
and then you thatha isiqiphothi sotata nomama omdala osuka ngapha eMalawi and olapha illegally,
And
and you take that
Slice,
person because you're going to pay them 2 cents.
you're raising a good point also where young people are talking about you see an advert is going to say 3 years. I don't have the 3 years experience. You want 6 years, and this is where they could be getting that experience. Those minor, you
Mm.
know. Customer service type of opportunities where you give to a graduate to say, look, izoba ipheka apha izoba but package it in such a way that it makes sense to a young person, because also young people are not gonna just go into a space where they're gonna be exploited and be abused, you know. Don't also there's the way also we use language,
Mm.
because we want to wanna ingabiko exciting for it must seem like it's a dull thing, it's not important,
Mm.
so that then the young person doesn't see value in it. And I think the way we package sometimes even opportunities is intended to
Mm.
make the young person seem like no, this is not something good,
It is
and that's
well.
a trap, because I always say every opportunity teaches you something that you might need later on in your career. As you were saying, who push it trolley, it's different when it's mid-month, when it's end of the month, when it's busy, 25, and but busy, it's a different story. You also meet different people. You now, have to have skills of
Network.
communication, networking with people,
Mm.
dealing with customers, so there's a skill that a person gets in those type of what do you call it, service,
So the service industry.
service industry, which is important for a graduate to get, and be able to transfer those skills into whatever that they're going to be doing.
To end it off, before we play the video of the minister telling us how many people have left South Africa already, there was an annoying video from that lady who was chased out by her, where she talks about a mile and she contradicts herself and all of that. But we're not going to pay attention to that. But there's this one coming from this guy. I'd put it up. Umaziwayo like Odi masithuma umntwana evenkileni. Remember when we were like, there's so much to talk about it. We don't have time. Like, well, we don't have evenkile, my brewery here. Okay. We still need advertising. So maybe you're gonna help us so that I masithuma umntwana evenkileni, and then like and then the advert. But getting to the minister, this lady was talking about 90,000 Nigerians that are stuck kulindela, and some of them have money, so they want to book their own flights. But when they book their own flights, they're obviously gonna be scanned, and what's the word, like they don't have criminal records and blah 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 and stuff like that. And if they have they are found to have flaunted imitator, they're gonna be taken to ulindela now. And I'm wondering to myself, listening to this, Indabana, how is this our problem? Because the repatriation aeroplane, if it's ordered by the president of Nigeria, they are not going to ask questions. They don't ask questions there. They're like, oh, Asylum seeker, come, let's go. But like now, the people who are panicking are those people who have money to fly themselves back, but they are worried about being screened for criminality. So what does that tell you? Where did you get the money to book this flight?
Why are you worried to be screened? Because that should be the least of your worries.
Of your worries, because you want to go home and you have the money for it and you worked. But let's just catch this quick one from the minister.
The Border Management Authority has processed at all its ports of entry 72,906 repatriations for the period between 7 June until 14 July. Working through multi-agency operations involving the South African Police Services, Border Management Authority, Home Affairs, the Hawks, and other law enforcement agencies, significant progress have been made against illegal border crossing, human trafficking networks, labor exploitation, fraudulent documentation syndicates, illegal mining operation, criminal enterprises that facilitate unlawful migration. I must add, in the other teams, it's the team from Department of Labor that does inspections at workplace. These operations have resulted in increased arrests, greater processing of undocumented persons, and improved coordination among law enforcement agencies. To date, law enforcement authorities have registered 354 cases of arrest, and prosecutions are still pending against individuals who are in contravention of the law related to the issue.
Did you come back before me?
I did. I did.
Queen, Did you come back before me?
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm over this podcast. Did you come back before me?
I just came back, literally a minute before you.
Okay, let's fill the viewer in. Okay, so
Sure.
we're talking on the side. We're like, okay, cool. One is we're gonna need to go drink water at some point, right? Because we don't have producers. We don't have camera people. Guys, like those stairs.
You guys, you don't know what happens behind the scenes, okay?
This was a
Right?
behind.
And thank God that we can mute and actually block the camera because a
What
lot is going
happens?
on.
But anyway, in all honesty, that's what happened. Okay,
Yeah.
we needed a break. We don't have adverts. Come 90s. Sixixelele iindaba zethu umazwayo into bana masithumbe umntana yeah. So guys, to those people who really want to advertise with us, like that's very simple. I'm gonna put it out there. To advertise, you just send to info@slyso.co.za. Even if it's water, huh?
Yeah.
If you got water, that water is gonna help us employ a person who's gonna deal with the lights and do the lighting properly and make sure that the queen is in the middle and all of that. So that's what we do as entrepreneurs. But anyway, we move on. We've dealt with this one.
Yeah.
Whew. Then Queen, there's the one about AZANIA. You probably will know the word used quite a lot in politics. I think PAC, if I'm not mistaken, there's one of those political parties that were talking about bring back AZANIA. AZANIA being a name coined all those decades ago for South Africa. So utata Alan Busak, utatus Kakane, utata Isaac Shai, Dr. Ibengu Arthur Fraser. They've come together and they said in Dokbana, listen, we want to have a formation that is not going to be a political party, but that is going to afford our Black South Africans in particular education and information on the land issue, on what freedom means, what being a patriotic South African means, and all of that, which I found to be a noble thing to do. But obviously, we have to look at the role players, you know. Utatus Kakane was Igqwetha lika Jacob Zuma at some point. You know, he's represented people. Even Nalotata Bestetha ngaye, he was representing lo khutshwayo Judiciary. So people look at such track records and like, why are we going to be behind this thing that is being done by these people? Utato Alan Busak has had the whole thing with coming from UDF, which I think this is where the idea is born out of, because the UDF was not a political party, but it was sucked in by African National Congress, you know, because all the smaller Black consciousness movement and all of them is like, yeah, now where's the ANC we're going to like form? But they've been disappointed, which is probably why he's there. And we know that UDF had done a lot with that to Arthur Fraser. Naye has had his role. He's also had his controversies. I think ndingaqondiyo okanye bendingakhange ndipike anything up is like uShai lona. So these people are saying, let's come together. We don't want to form a political party. We want to raise consciousness. I don't think it's not even awareness, but it's like consciousness. I don't know what you think about a movement like that existing in South Africa, not for politics, probably seeing from March and all of those people. Your views?
I mean, it's good to then have something organized, you know, that is going to educate and come with, I think, credible information, you know, for young people. I think it is noble. I think we also have to. I mean, we have to understand, Obana, sometimes there will be people that have done certain things. For example, Tatus Kakan, I think he's a brilliant, person. Of course, he might have, in terms of his career, not made, the best decisions,
Yeah.
but you then look at, of course, thinking yake umdu as well. What is the intention behind it?
Hmm.
And I think for me, when someone really wants to give back, that is always noble, especially when they want to impart some wisdom to young people and educate us. There's definitely some one or two things that we can learn from them. So
Hmm.
why not? Why not formalize it if it is for the good of our country?
No, certainly. I totally agree with you there. And I think someone had to wake up from somewhere, someone who's going to give credence to what March and March has been doing. Because if you remember, and I think we spoke about it, is that like a lot of people were just thinking in the one, hey, this is Zuma fueled thing that is going to,
Yes.
but it is not about who is doing it. It is
No.
what they are doing,
Yeah.
you know.
What they
um
represent.
what
Yeah.
they represent, and I think, like, I'll be honest, very honest, like, Zuma's not my favorite person. He has never been my favorite person. And collisions happened uh,
Yeah.
while I was working, and all of that, where there was involvement and all of that. But like,
Yeah.
not to say that like I will despise you for what happened, but you just were not
A good leader.
a good leader. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had the selfishness, had the greediness not been there, he
Yeah.
could have been a very perfect person to talk culture
Yeah.
to Black South Africans. He could have
Yeah.
been a person who could have led abe general abantwana abahlala around the fire. Because, for an
Yeah.
example, things that he was talking about, yendokbana, like our young Black South Africans, or South Africans at large, they
Mm.
should have a year of service, you know,
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
army. With
Yeah.
that is very important, and it's not about sending your kids to learn how to kill a person. They're
No.
going to learn skills, because in the army you find engineers, you find all of these people that probably would have been struggling, or did not have a rate that gets them to a university, but they could go to an army and
Yeah.
have their, like, you know what I mean. But anyway, now I'm dragging it and taking it out of like thingy. It's like nobody's all
Perfect.
bad and all of that, and toxic and all of that. But
Yeah.
the nobility that I think this comes with, to have people with so much knowledge of the country, the struggle, the nobility, the consciousness, the
Yes.
politics, and they say in the manner like, we don't want to be a political party. Can we be a school?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's just one of those. And I think it's going to be our last story so that we can go. We'll leave the other one of the other guy from I'm just going to play that short video. That lucky guy who has had his houses frozen because of the billions of itenda, yaseprasa, and nabantwana benu abaya esikolweni benxibe ilantika iduku ne. We leave those ones. And if we have a chance, maybe when we end. But for now, it's about important stuff. Let me just play that short clip quickly.
Space is not great, but because we think our people need education and healing. Our strategic posture is informed by the fact that fundamental change in the country will only come when Black people begin to appreciate that they have agency and that only they can determine their destiny. Importantly, we believe that change is not only possible through the medium of a political party. Yes, we are political, very political, in our characterization of the problems engulfing this country. However, we are of the view that there are multiple and varied paths to agitating for change. It is not only political parties that are capable of pursuing the interests of Black people. It is us working with them to do what they do. The second point is that we believe that an entity like AZANIA is capable of uniting Black people across the political spectrum, across religious divides. This is precisely why one of the first strategic interventions we're going to do, that AZANIA wants to do, is to call for and organize a Black People's Convention to discuss us, ourselves, our condition, to discuss what we are about, to discuss why we hate each other, to discuss why we want to be slaves, why we do not want anything that seeks to liberate us.
Sure. Yeah. Anyway, we say thank you very much to our news source of choice, iol.co.za. But there he lays it out as it is, Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, it's something to look forward to. It's something to look forward to. It's something that one would definitely want to be part of, like want to be in that room and hear those conversations, you know. It's I think it's also long overdue, because I have a problem, Slyso, with especially on the male side. I like this kind of thinking and this kind of, because we always talk with a friend of mine about the lack of mentorship from men, the lack of men imparting knowledge to the next generation, and just like, you know, um, creating structures, different kind of structures outside politics, like, but where they are talking about serious, you know, topics, izinto ezidlumzi, eziserious, you know, that we know is going to empower the young person, the young man, the young woman. So I love this, that it's championed by men, you know, men of a certain, you know,
Caliber
character,
as well.
caliber, you know. It's good, and I think it's a call also on other men to like be involved.
Yeah, and also just in closing, before we get to the motivational moment, I think it's very important to note that we've had towns and cities around South Africa that have had their names changed, like where you live.
Yes.
You know,
Goldcom.
when people ask, it's like, oh, your co-host is so brilliant. Like, is she around? Can we like Kula Gauteng? I was like, no, it's the Eastern Cape. Because I'm trying to avoid. No, a person might be disinterested. It's like, no, uhlala kuGompo. I was like, what? How on earth does this person who's so brilliant live in a place called Gompo? Like, but anyway, like on name changes, and we've also had Gqeberha as well with the name change. South Africa
Yeah.
has even been doing nabekezelwa by these illegal foreigners. It's like, yeah, no, it's just a direction on the campus. It's not even a name and stuff. And there's a word that's been going around, AZANIA, and I think it was very strategic how they put it together, because they highlight izinto ezifana ne land redistribution under this formation, which is going to resonate with a far leftist person, and also the elites as well, who will be in the ANC, and the the ultra left,
Yes.
ultra, mid right as well. That was like, okay, I'm gonna leave DA, or I'm gonna leave this political party for us as Black
Yeah.
people. So for me,
Yeah.
it's such a brilliant put together thing. But we're gonna have to wait and see.
I think it is. I mean, I think it's brilliant, because I do think also there is a kind of what is it, detachment that's happening with South Africans from political parties, political parties.
Yes.
So then you want to bring an alternative, and if maybe this is something that we will be, you know, getting closer and hearing and seeing, but maybe we want to listen to the site.
Yeah, and I think it will. What I like about it is like for an example, I know, is it this weekend that the 1st and the 2nd of August,
Yes.
there's another round of registration for for the elections in November. These are the last ones, and I really would like to urge South Africans to actually go out there. If you have not registered to vote, please make sure that it's the only way you can amplify your voice and have a seat at the table. As a lot of people who have been schooling me about not wanting to vote, I'm gonna tell you something big that you've never heard about it. Maybe in the new season, as far as me and voting. But shall we head over to a flagship feature on the show, which deals with your Mentos? Sisa and I, Nondosh and friends, we used to say Ingondo is the Mentos, not Mentos. But anyway,
let's do it.
Let's do this.
Give up on your dreams, don't give up on yourself. It can also be a developmental crisis issue. Keep pushing and stay the course. Hey everybody, I just want to greet my friends on Facebook, Madam Gela, very warmly, very kindly, as I come back as a psychologist. And just to say, guys, I am sometimes so amazed by the comments and the conversations, that people really just indulge me on when I post my content. So Slyso, today I wanted to just maybe bring in the conversation that I've been having on the TikTok platform and bring it back here. For our Facebook followers and everyone else. I talked about alcohol, but I then moved from just alcohol, talked about fetal alcohol syndrome, okay, something that we don't talk a lot about. Now, we know that South Africa is known to be, a place where utywala is kind of, our go-to for everything. So alcohol is kind of central in how we do life. It has kind of become so normalized, but we don't talk about the effects of alcohol, the negative consequences of alcohol, and the fact that alcohol is a driver of many problems that we have in our country, such as GBV. I wanted to talk about fetal alcohol syndrome because of its, ties to the fact that it is one of the biggest problems that the education system is dealing with. One of the consequences is escalating, right? We have a crisis, or teachers have a crisis, where they're dealing with abantwana who are very slow. They're not learning at a pace that they're supposed to be learning at. There's a lot of young kids now who are just being pushed into the system because they can't be held behind, because madala, and one of the reasons, one of the root causes is because females who are pregnant sometimes make the mistake, and I will say a mistake, because it's a national platform. I don't want to use strong words here, and they drink alcohol when they're pregnant, and people have kind of normalized this thing because they have consulted their doctors and they've been told that drinking one glass won't harm the baby, and yet we know, and research tells us that alcohol is very harmful to your baby's brain development. It actually causes brain damage, right? And when there's brain damage, that means development of the child is going to be negatively affected. Now, when you are drinking, obviously you don't see that damage because the baby is in your stomach and your belly there. You don't actually have a sense of what's going on until umntana azalwe, and then you start to see these developmental delays now coming in, right? So fetal alcohol syndrome is actually something that happens when the mother drinks alcohol when they are pregnant. We know that a lot of women fall pregnant, they haven't planned the pregnancy. Then they also don't have the option of termination because when they find out, it's too late. So this is an unplanned pregnancy. It's also unwanted pregnancy. There's going to be stress And the way that they cope with stress is by drinking, not realizing that the drinking is going to cause more problems for you in the near future. What is going to happen is that you are going to have a child who has what we call an intellectual disability, because their brain is affected, you now start to see these young kids who are not able to grasp, language, quickly compared to their peers, who are not able to, khawuleza bakhule ngendlela right, who actually also have prominent features that are quite abnormal, who end up also being bullied by their peers because they look different. And their outlook is because of this alcohol that was being used by the mom. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that we need to actually stop normalizing drinking alcohol in South Africa and understand that there's so many consequences, negative consequences to drinking alcohol, and that when you are pregnant, there's absolutely no valid reason for you to drink alcohol as a pregnant, woman. It doesn't matter the circumstances that you find yourself in. It doesn't matter that you didn't plan this pregnancy and you don't want this pregnancy, but now you are here, and you have to be responsible and you have to make, good choices for this baby that you're carrying, that you're going to bring, because this child now must integrate into society, and when there's alcohol involved, it makes it very difficult for your child to develop into, this wonderful person that they can be. You are also actually robbing your child of becoming fully who they were meant to be, because with this, as I said, with the brain damage, is that, umntana uzawukhula ngoku uselele intellectual disability, therefore they will probably not finish school, because they're not going to be able to grasp these concepts, educational concepts as they grow, because things are going to become a bit challenging for their brain, right? They are not going to be able to also just to integrate into society, because they're going to be different, right? And so there's going to be exclusion that's going to happen now. And this child is not going to enjoy being part of a community. You're going to rob that child of having that experience as well, because if the child is going to have difficulties with learning, a slow learner, now bayashiyeka from their peers, now that means that child is probably going to drop out of school, now they lose the opportunity to actually, go and experience life, and fulfill their dreams and reach their potential because of one decision that was made by the parent, drinking while they're pregnant. So if fetal alcohol syndrome, Slyso, is something that is preventable, 100% preventable. So by you just making that decision, not drinking, that's it. So a lot of times we hear these excuses from parents, but no, I couldn't prevent it. I didn't mean to, but it is preventable. You just need to understand that once you know that you're pregnant, you do not drink. And then there's a lot of people that will come and say, no, I didn't know that I was pregnant, which is also just another excuse that females come up with. Okay, because the minute there's something going on in your body tells you, right? And if you are a receptive person, if you are a person that really takes care of themselves, you will be curious to find out, but once again, you will notice the differences and you want to go and find out. And the minute you know, you then have to make sure that you are doing the right thing. What is also disturbing is that I've been hearing a lot also of, people engaging me and saying that it doesn't stop from women actually drinking when they are pregnant, but also abantu abancinci who are stressed out and don't want to deal with the little kids. And now, we see also that parents are enabling this alcohol use from a very young age, which is also problematic, yes. So alcohol is not only something that people use to deal with their own stress, but also to deal with the stress. And not realizing that when a child is still developing and growing, they are vulnerable, their brain is still not fully formed. And so they should not be exposed to certain, substances, alcohol being one of them. So again, we need to do better as abazali, and the parenting doesn't start only it starts before, right? The minute you know about the pregnancy, you have to start to make those good decisions and do the right thing as umzali. And that's my story. I'm just sticking to it. Let me know what you think on the comment section. Let's hear about it. What is your story? We've seen these things. We know, these stories. And we didn't talk about it then because we didn't have a good understanding. But now we know, and I think we need to talk about it some more and say, look, this is something that can be prevented. We've grown up, Slyso as Dalinzetu, we see someone who's mentally disturbed and we don't know, it's a young person, only to find out it was because the mom was drinking when this person, hence a Zalwa and a disability that could have been prevented. We have also kids at school, where the teacher will say, look, we have tried. There's nothing that we really can do to accommodate Lomdana. It's not able to pick up, learning in the manner that the peers are picking it up. And those are signs that tell you that something went wrong, in the development. And sometimes it comes back to what was happening before the child was born.
Yeah, that is her story, and she's sticking to it, and it's very interesting, and I think it speaks to the very same topic as Sukakuyo in Dokbana. If we have a functioning society, if we have a society that teaches each other, that advises each other, it's very easy to pick up on these things because now we have to deal with Tandega. It's like, like,
Yes.
bala, and then can I tangle up like him, and then like all of this, like you are making excuses about decisions
Yeah.
that are reserved for emergencies. Like
Yes.
umzekelo, and after peel is not something that you're like, oh hi sana, we're gonna go skin to skin, but home. So like, are you thinking about the harm that you are doing to yourself? And I know I'm gonna digress just a tiny bit, with these people, especially us with men, fellow guys, that take enhancers, for sexual prowess and blah 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 and all of this stuff. And I've known some of them. Like, I mean, these are people that we grow up with and come across and like, yeah, you used to take a palm dala, and then now you're on Viagra, now you all
I
of these
agree
things.
that.
You know what I mean? And these
Yeah.
things are designed to assist people that actually have issues,
Yeah.
not you who wants to be Tarzan, you who wants to like. The very same thing applies to Suhle, come on. The very same thing applies to people taking after
Oh, yeah.
what
Morning
is
after
it,
pill.
morning
Yeah.
after pills,
Yes.
because you don't know how much that was probably your only chance to have a child. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then you're gonna go to doctors one day when you get married. I don't know what's happening to me. Gandhi, you were popping those things like they were
Exactly.
Smarties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I
very
think
interesting.
it's like, so we my stance. I always say like, hey, we are adults, and we'll get to a point where when we are adults, we must think like adults. We must be critical of ourselves and our behavior, and call ourselves out on this BS. Stop making excuses. Like, you have to understand that certain things are preventable by just make the responsible choice, do the hard thing, because you're an adult. Life is just like that, unfortunately. So I think especially when it comes to alcohol, there's this culture of just wanting to always be fun. Life is not always about being fun and being
Nah.
intoxicated, and we need to get out of that. And I think it's us who have to call ourselves out so that our younger people can also know. And by the way, I must tell you, Slyso, interesting research that's coming up again. I'm a 2000. I love them because the research that's coming up is saying that Gen Zs are drinking less than the millennials.
You go,
Which
kids.
tells you, which tells you that there's again an awakening that's happening. They grew up in these home environments where and he's
Yes.
drunk, and when he comes back home, then it's not nice at home, you know,
Mm.
or he's going to be violent, or mom uzangabuyi the whole entire day because and I'm not gonna have anyone who's on this kaftina, you know, and we see that the consequences of, you know, alcohol is not about just ukusela urhuqo phansi. It's also about how disruptive it is in the home environment,
In
you
the
know,
family.
in the
You just
family.
made me think of something now. No, it didn't happen to me, but like growing up in the township, you see this thing all the time. The kids who grow up with anxiety because uqhele ukwenzelwa isikhafutina ku-ayinwe impahla zakhe zesikolo because
Yeah.
bakula age bana abakakwazi uzenzela izinto.
Yes.
The anxiety, like every time kudlula imoto, like something ngumntana uyokroba efestireni ngumama, they're not worried about umama is going to have fun. They're worried about utishara uzawuthini kusasa xa ndifika ndinempahla ezishwabeneyo when I don't get my food properly and stuff like that. The issue, like, you know, the point you made around education, I think it's very important for you as a parent. Umntanakho mkokose like iqanda, you know.
Yeah.
Makangaqheli kakubi, you know, and all of that. Yeah, uthetha mna, you know, type of thing. But like that two-way communication, that making sure in Dokbana, you were blessed enough for your womb to carry this person, like carry them as preciously as possible, like ate akul. And I think it's one of those things that I think as a Black society, we ekufuneka sigxile kuzo.
Yeah, I
You don't
think
have
we
to get
are.
pregnant for so and so because ufumene umsebenzi effect.
And I mean, we are a society that neglects children. So, to be quite honest, we are very bad in taking care of abantwana. Like children are the last thing when we discuss policies, when we discuss just, you know, like social ills. Hence, I felt the need to bring in that conversation also about parenting doesn't start when the child is here. Parenting starts when you find out you're pregnant. There your role starts, you know, and so your decisions, your choices start. That actually, you know, set your child up. So besides even the economical aspect of it, whether we but it is the choices that you also make that set up your child to ubana uzawuphumelela okanye aziphumelela emhlabeni. I mean, we know kids who come from very difficult backgrounds, but because the parents made good choices like not drinking, that child's brain is fully functional. They become something great in life because of that parent who decided, I know I'm pregnant, the circumstances are not good, but you know what? Let me give this child an opportunity to grow and be something in life, maybe. And the child can grow and be anything in the world, really.
Yeah, that is a great point. And I think it brings me to you who is watching, who's probably just given birth. Did you know that you save a whole lot of money if you're gonna breastfeed? Rather than ubuleqe emveni komuntu ngemali I don't know what they drink nowadays, the formula things, you know. When you start your own garden apha kule RDP yakho, umntana wakho, when they get to a certain age, they can eat natural thingy from the ground, and these are things that need to be taught to our brothers and sisters. So that's a very beautiful one, Queen. I think we're gonna chop it up and put it out there, and you know, up until we get back with the third season. Can we agree that this is the last episode of season 2? It's episode 40. We're gonna close it off next week. What we are going to do, because there are a lot of behind the scenes, like we run and we go to the bathroom when there's a video playing, and then we come back because
and then
we're just
someone
doing this.
doesn't have good lighting, sometimes doesn't know
You know
what's
what I
happening.
mean?
Obviously,
You know?
you don't see.
Yeah.
And then someone here doesn't have good sound and it just is a mess. Okay, guys,
But the
but
vision
we
keeps us. Yeah, what the vision keeps us. It's like, okay, we've got content, we've got this to deliver, to share with our brothers and sisters out there. So please, guys, next week We are not going to be live, but what we're going to do is we're going to package highlights and behind the scenes, you know, of the Slyso TV podcast throughout this second season, and then we will be live that other when we start season 3 with a whole lot of beautiful stuff. But I really love this. Just in closing, Queen,
Yes.
any update?
So we are definitely, our plans are coming nicely together. Thank you so much to the ladies that have registered. Love, love, love you. We're just so excited. My team and I are working very hard. As I said, Slyso, we want to make this evening a special one for the ladies. I've been getting a lot of queries. I'm divorced, and does this mean I can't come? No, you can come. You can definitely come if you were married before and you now no longer married. We are also just wanting to make sure that people understand this is for women from all walks of life. This is not an elite type of event. This is not a celebrity type of event. This is for you, ordinary women, who just want to come together and just talk and share your experiences, but also be in a safe space. Be in a space where you are going to just be focusing on yourself. So 29th of August, we are going to be coming together for a ladies in pajama night, and I just am so excited. I can't wait to see you in your PJs, looking cute. Nothing, like extravagant. Just you in your PJs, comfortable, and we're gonna have a special night. Yeah.
What she's trying to say is that if you are not a person who is into Louis Vuitton, or Kanye, you think you need to rock up in a Louis Vuitton, uthenge leya phaa estratweni izakurhawuzelela the whole night so much you don't pay attention. Don't do that. Go to Pep stores, go to like thingy, or where le inontshontsho yakho uyazi into yobana
Gown yakho, slippers zakho, ube cute. I know my girls like Shein. They order phaa Shein. Like, Shein is nice and cute.
Are they, oh man, I don't know, like I'm probably like leading or something. I can imagine like or usually ladies when they come home, right, like from a day at work, they go to the bathroom, rinse off the
makeup off,
makeup, bazonxiba
bonnet
ilandika.
on,
Now it's gonna be the other way around.
Yes.
Umntu uzonxiba pajama and then put on makeup and look zhuzh to be with the
But
girl.
you see, this is the other thing, like, so if a person wants to come without having made up, that's also okay. Like, this is
Being
the
yourself.
thing about this. Yes, bring yourself. If you like, we don't need you to be on a different hairstyle, whatever. You can just wear your bonnet. I did say you are literally in your PJs. Of course, you want to look cute, so you can, pamper yourself a little bit. Puff for the camera, because there's other cute pictures, but really, I wanted to be as laid back as possible, where you are just in this relaxed environment.
Yeah, so people can still send, here it is, guys, like right there on the ticker at the bottom, senganatobega@gmail.com. Can they call as well?
Yes, they can call. Yes, but if you send an email, it's quick and easy. I'm always on my.
I know
laptop. And of course, I've got my PA who's also helping me, and my assistants who are helping me with this, just putting in the logistics around the event. We are going to be sending out a poster soon where we are going to be confirming the venue, and then we're going to be closing the registration as well. So look out for that. So this week, I think, is the last week that is open for registration. And then next week, you're going to get an updated poster with all the details.
Yeah. We obviously will do a write-up of where the event is next week. www.slyso.co.za. We're going to do a write-up and give you all of the information that the Queen is talking about so that you are clear or you don't have to come here and rewind. But Queen, thank you so much. A beautiful one. This is how we are ending season 2, episode 40. And we're saying Thank you so much to the loyal people. Omazwaya, I have to mention you by name.
Yes.
You know, and you're just about the only one probably nabasingayojonga go uzawufika nguwe wedwa watch this. It's like, how many views? 2 views.
Yeah.
He was watching from his laptop and his phone. That's why it's got 2 views. But guys, we say thank you so much. Obviously, this is a time for you to reach out to us. The Slyso TV podcast. Let me give you those. You can actually put it on info@slyso.co.za, or maybe come on our social media platforms or inbox us whatever ideas you have for season 3, things that you would like to see. We've got our plans, but we obviously want to be a podcast that is being curated by you, that speaks about topics that you want to talk about. So make sure that you are part of that. Otherwise, if you want to book this lady here, right? This lady here, senganatobega@gmail.com, because she has a private practice. So that you can get your stuff sorted out. 073-421-3360 is where you can get hold of her. Queen, it's been a wonderful one. Yeah, I think we're gonna be crying. I think we should be on video just to cry when we look at the videos from the previous. Like, I remember this.
You know what, Len? You know, this where I was like, let me tell you this. This is such a good story to tell you, and I think you're gonna be very excited to know. We actually have people that are watching us. You know, they might not comment, but they see us. So Bendise, just outside King Williamstown for Mkiji in like 2 weeks ago, two
Yeah.
weekends ago. Yes, dilibele ke le
It's
line,
tea.
but when you are uyaphuma apha eKing usiya ngasePedi before you even
Oh, Oma Kuzini.
I think it's a Kraga, yes.
Kaga, yes, Kaga.
So December whatever, so I'm driving out, but now I can't find my way out of
Badula.
Okay, okay, let's go drive it. So now I'm trying to, maneuver the car, and so this guy, I had to know, this is not the way up. It's a, dead end type of area, so you must go. And okay, so I said, oh no, thank you. Yeah, let's go, man. I just I don't know, man. Since there was man, did I wear there's a lot. I was like, and I thought, oh, that is so sweet. Like, I mean, so yeah, I think I just want to appreciate our viewers, and sometimes maybe they catch us, later on, but just, the love is there, and of course, just appreciating you guys engaging with the content.
Yeah. Queen, thank you so much. Next week, it's just going to be those videos, those people who were wondering. I spoke to a lot of people. Very phenomenal. It's out on slyso.co.za. The article about what I went to go cover that was being done by the South African State Theatre, where they went to go renovate five rooms, the matric, including the principal's block and all of that. And when they found the situation, they were like, nah, we need to do this entire school, which was very, very noble of them, because, people are under budget, are on budget, and but the whole team was there, which was beautiful. The entire management, because they were there for team building as well. So they didn't just go do this Nelson Mandela thing. They roped in a lot of things, and they were there to decide, we're going to go to the hard way, and they fixed the whole school. So that video is going to come next week. And I think more than anything, it's going to tell a story of a lot of schools in South Africa that are to an extent hardly assisted by government, which need the intervention of the private sector, and other organizations to assist education yabantwana bethu. That school just last year had a pass rate of 97.7%, abantwana bakumatric yabo, and they've been between 80 and that percentage for the past 6 years, and they are the biggest contributors or consumers of the literature program that is being rolled out by the South African State Theatre. So if they're doing Othello or they're doing Julius Caesar or they're doing Zigagamendi or whatever, they have productions and they invite schools to go and watch them. So they were the ones that were leading in doing so. So it's a very brilliant story. Like, it brings tears to my eyes. Yeah, but we'll share about it a little bit later on. Thank you so much, Queen. Yeah, so I look forward to the 29th of August. Even though I'm not going to be there, I'll be there in spirit.
We will be telling you everything afterwards.
Virgin mojito sana yang atin di Queen, let's have it.
Oh, peace out, man. Oh,
thank you,
guys.
South Africa. We love you. Follow us on social media platforms and, of
Please.
course, our TikTok, as well as she's back on Facebook, by the way.
I'm back
So
on
make sure
Facebook.
that you go to her Facebook.
I'm back on Facebook. You know what? We must get the content on my Facebook as well. But we'll talk about that. I'm back on Facebook. My Facebook friends are very, 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 very kind, very welcoming there. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
The first cup, it's not here. Actually, here's what we do. This is what's nice about entrepreneurship. The first cup that we are going to give away, Slyso TV podcast, it's going to be given on the Queen's Facebook page. But the very first cup of the podcast in our marketing merchandise stuff is going to be given on Tawegam Sangana's Facebook profile. So follow us. Yeah, baby. Good night, Queen. Have a good one.
Bye.